Moving on. Purdue has come up in the dialogue in the last couple days. This is a crazy conversation to be having already, but I want to make my stance very clear, and I think you're on board with me. It seems that people are now undervaluing Purdue somehow, and I still don't fully understand why. But like all the comments on any videos that we've done, any comments on the offseason grades that the Field of 68 has done, anything I'm seeing, anytime Purdue is brought up, it's just, well, they lost to Fairleigh Dickinson. Like that backcourt can't cut it. They can't beat a press. Matt Painter stinks in March. Blah 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 blah. Purdue is quote unquote so overrated that they are now underrated to me. I just want to say that. Like, one, I don't think they are overrated. I'm using other people's words when I say this, but everyone that's trying to act like Purdue is overrated is wildly underrating this team that was a top 3 team in the country for all of last season that brings everybody back and adds some pretty nice freshmen. Like, you're not supposed to bring everybody back from a team that was at the top of the sport last year, including the best player in the country. Like, I don't understand why we have to downplay this just because they lost to a 16 seed. Like, did people not watch what Tony Bennett's Virginia team did? Like, one loss does not make an entire program. And I get they've lost multiple years leading up to this, but like those teams were different. Those teams had different issues than next year's team has. And as long as the freshmen take any jump whatsoever, this team is a no-brainer. Best team in the Big Ten, arguably best team in the country to me next season. So am I crazy on that? Because this is stemming a little bit from the Michigan State-Purdue combo we had yesterday, but like, just I'm so sick of the comments that are just downplaying Purdue because of the Fairleigh Dickinson loss.
Yeah, 100%. And for me, it's indicative when I say that I have Purdue as the number 1 team in the Big Ten coming to the year. And the first thing people say is, oh, but did you see that Fairleigh Dickinson game? I mean, yeah, I did, but I also saw this team win the Big Ten regular season easily and also basically sleepwalk to a Big Ten tournament title as well. Bring back their whole team from last year, including the National Player of the Year, a backcourt that's going to get better. And then the things that were lacking as far as athleticism, they're getting in guys like Coleman and apparently Camden Hyde. I got to see it still, but that's what I'm being told. It's just crazy to me that a team that brings back the National Player of the Year, guys like, and even guys like Ethan Morton are going to be old, good. Guys like Gillis, old, good. Kaufman, Wren, first. Like, it's just, they bring back so much from a really, really good team and have room to get better. So it's just like, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's people are saying they're overrated so much that they are becoming underrated. And to the point about the March thing, all it takes is one run. All it takes is one Final Four to shake that narrative. It really does. Like, people have completely forgot about what Tony Bennett did when they lost to that 16 seed, because they came back the next year and they won it. Like, that's an afterthought now, especially an afterthought because Fairleigh Dickinson pulled the upset. So we don't got to go to the most recent one. But like, it's just, I don't know. It's really just people underrating Purdue so much. And I really don't understand it, because everything points to this team being a top 5 team in the country and being one of the best teams in the Big Ten this year and the country, and having the ability to make a run. So, honestly, I hope that like people who create lines and things like that are feeling the same way about Purdue, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money on this team, man, if people are going to underrate them like this.
March is incredibly fluky. Like, and I get that's a convenient time for a Michigan fan to be making this argument, and Michigan State fans value March more than any other program in the country, as they should. Like, good programs do that. I get it. March is incredibly fluky, Cart. Like, when Michigan made a second weekend 2 seasons ago, that didn't make them a good basketball team. Like, really, really, really good basketball teams lose in the first round. Like, I think the best Michigan State basketball team in 10 years was the team that didn't make a Sweet 16. Like, I think the Denzel Valentine senior year and the Miles Bridges sophomore year were 2 of the best Michigan State teams we've ever seen.
Redacted.
Redacted. Sorry. March is fluky. That's what we love about this sport. We absolutely love it. Now, Matt Painter has had a larger string of flukiness to his tenure than any other coach in this conference. He needs to prove it. I get that. I'm not saying he doesn't, but using the losses in the past to discredit what this Purdue team is going to be next season is insane to me, Cart, because I don't understand. Why would we take so much value in a 5-point loss to Fairleigh Dickinson and define Purdue next season off of that, instead of defining Purdue for next season based on a 5-point win against Marquette, a 12-point win against West Virginia, a 18-point win against Gonzaga, a 19-point win against Duke. Those things happened 2 weeks into Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer's careers in Purdue. They eviscerated some awesome basketball teams that won games in March. And I'm supposed to ignore those wins because they did lose one game under the bright lights. It makes no sense to me. This team is so clearly the best team in the Big Ten. And some of these comments are coming from Twitter Spaces Davis Mosley did yesterday. God bless Davis. I enjoy our conversations with him. We've had him on the show. He said he'd take Michigan State in March at the end of the season. He has Michigan State over Purdue. I would never do that. I just wouldn't. And I'm not saying Michigan State isn't going to be really good. I think Michigan State can make a Final Four. All of that's true. Purdue is so clearly the best team. And if I have to pick them for anything, I don't care if it's at the beginning of the season, the end of the season, anything. Purdue is clearly the class of the Big Ten, arguably the class of the country next season, Cart.
Relax on the slope so clearly. Okay, let's relax a little bit.
It's true though. It's true.
So clearly.
Yes.
No, I'm not. We're not gonna see eye to eye on that one. I think Purdue is the best team coming into the season for any preseason rankings. But like I've stated many times before, there's a tier in the Big Ten. There's 2 teams on that tier. It's Purdue and Michigan State.
And I would respond by saying there's 2 tiers at the top. Tier 1 is Purdue. Tier 2 is Michigan State.
See, it's changing. It's changing because of other people's words about Purdue. Don't take it out on us.
Listen, Michigan State's core that has returned, that is the core of this top 5 team in the country, has to take a massive jump to go to the level that Purdue was at last season, and Purdue has all their players back. It can happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but they need to make that jump before we give them credit for making the jump. Purdue's made the jump already. Purdue is that good. We know they're that good. Can Michigan State reach that level? Potentially. Hopefully it happens. But anybody acting like preseason Michigan State is ahead of Purdue in any way, we need to see that first before we give them credit for that. It could happen. If it does happen, it's because the freshman class is really special. It's not going to be because Malik Hall makes some jump in year 5. It's going to be because Cohen Carr or Xavier Booker or Jeremy Fears are really impactful players that somehow help this group out.
And Tyson and AJ jumps. And Jaden. I think there's jumps for all 3 of those players.
You think there's an additional jump for Tyson Walker off of what we saw last year? He was so good last year.
Yeah, but I could see him being a 17-point a game guy. I don't know if you want to call that a jump or not, but I could see that.
But again, those jumps have to come with added opportunity a little bit, right? I would buy there's a production jump for those guys if one of them left. None of them left.
Joey Hauser left. So I think there's that right there leaves room for more production from somebody. Honestly, I don't care who it comes from. I'm saying there's an opportunity for somebody to make a jump because we lost a guy who averaged 14 and 8.
Yeah, to me that goes to one of the front court names though. Or I guess I could buy Akins if you want to say that stuff goes to Akins. I don't see how they use Tyson Walker better or more than they did last year. He was already great.
Yeah.
Unless
you yourself have said you see a world where Tyson averages 17 a game. Last year he averaged 13, 14.
I thought he averaged closer to 17, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm misremembering things. I might be giving him too much mental credit for last year. He felt like he was averaging 20 a game down the stretch.
I mean, he might down the stretch. He might have been. He was pretty special.
Look, the point is, this isn't supposed to even be about Michigan State. It just stemmed from that conversation. Just it's okay to acknowledge how good Purdue is.
Yeah, Tyson averaged 15 last year, by the way.
Okay, yeah, right in between what we said.
But yes, all in all, that is the main takeaway from this. We are on the same page there. That people are underrating Purdue for some odd reason, and I really don't know why. And I'm open using it, listening to arguments and things like that. But like, I really don't know what angle you really take. And if you want to say, oh, they lost to Fairleigh Dickinson last year, then you can save your breath with that.
And they like Caleb First and Kaufman Wren coming back, even though they know they're going to be behind Edie, is absurd to me. Like any other program in the country, those guys transfer, and they're really talented kids who at some point are going to make a big impact for Purdue. So I don't know. I like what they're doing across the board. They're so overrated, they're underrated, Cart. And I think you're also one of the people underrating them because you're acting like it is a conversation that Michigan State could catch them, which to me means you're underrating Purdue.
Okay. Look at this. This is the same fan base that hoped you got hit with the ladder that we brought down there. Look at you caping for them.